Welcome back to the channel Worth Coins. Today we are exploring the history and significance of the famous 1776-976 D1 bicentennial coin. This special dollar was issued to celebrate 200 years of American independence, making it one of the most symbolic coins in U.S. history. In this video, you will learn about its design, meaning, mint mark, and why this coin is still popular among collectors today. So stay with us and let's begin this amazing journey into American coin history. Top 5 first up. The 1776-976 $1 coin is one of the most famous and symbolic coins in United States history. It was issued to celebrate the 200th anniversary, bicentennial of the independence of the United States. The year 1776 marks the signing of the Declaration of Independence, while 1976 represents 200 years of freedom, growth, and national identity. To honor this historic milestone, the U.S. Mint created special designs for several coins, including the $1 coin. This coin is commonly known as the bicentennial Eisenhower dollar. It features two dates, 1776-976 instead of a single year. This dual date makes the coin instantly recognizable and separates it from regular issue dollar coins. The D mint mark shows that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint, one of the main U.S. mint facilities. The obverse front of the coin displays the portrait of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States and a respected World War II general. The design was originally created by chief engraver Frank Gasparro. Eisenhower was chosen for the dollar coin because of his leadership, military service, and role in modern American history. His image remained the same as earlier Eisenhower dollars, maintaining continuity with previous issues. The reverse back of the 1776-976 dollar is what makes this coin truly special. Instead of the traditional eagle landing on the moon, the bicentennial dollar shows a Liberty Bell superimposed over the moon. This powerful design symbolizes the birth of American independence, Liberty Bell, and the nation's achievements in space exploration, Moon. The reverse design was created by Dennis R. Williams, who won a national design competition held by the U.S. Mint. The 1776-976 D dollar was struck for circulation, meaning it was intended for everyday use, unlike some commemorative coins made only for collectors. The Denver Mint produced these coins using a copper-nickel-clad composition, which gives the coin its silver-like appearance but contains no actual silver. This is an important point, as many people mistakenly believe all bicentennial dollars are silver. It is also important to understand that silver bicentennial dollars do exist, but they were not made at the Denver Mint. The silver versions, 40% silver, were produced only at the San Francisco Mint and carry an S mint mark. Therefore, a 1776-1976 D coin is not silver, even though it looks similar. During the mid-1970s, the U.S. Mint produced millions of bicentennial coins to meet public demand. Because of this large production, the 1776-976 D dollar is common today. Many people saved these coins as souvenirs, which further increased the number of well-preserved examples still available. As a result, most circulated coins do not have high monetary value. In circulated condition, the 1776-976 D dollar is usually worth face value or slightly more, depending on condition. In uncirculated condition, especially with strong detail and no wear, it can be worth a bit more to collectors. Coins graded by professional grading services in very high mint state condition may sell for higher prices, but they are still not considered extremely rare. Despite its modest market value, the 1776-976 D1 coin holds strong historical and emotional value. It represents American independence, national pride, and a unique moment when the entire country celebrated its 200-year journey. For many collectors, this coin is a reminder of the bicentennial celebrations, parades, and patriotic spirit of the 1970s. In conclusion, the 1776-976 D Eisenhower dollar is not a rare treasure worth millions, but it is a true historical artifact. Its importance lies in its symbolism, design, and connection to America's bicentennial anniversary. Whether kept as a collectible, educational item, or family keepsake, this coin remains a meaningful part of U.S. numismatic history. Next time. States is officially known as the Franklin half dollar. This coin belongs to the Franklin half dollar series, which was minted from 1948 to 1963. The year 1952 falls in the middle of this important series and represents a time of stability and post-war economic growth in the United States. The coin has historical, cultural, and numismatic importance, making it popular among collectors even today. Design and inspiration. The Franklin half dollar was designed by John R. Sinek, who was the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time. For the first time in U.S. coin history, a real historical American figure who was not a president, Benjamin Franklin, was featured on a circulating coin. Franklin was one of the founding fathers of the United States and is remembered for his contributions as a scientist, inventor, diplomat, writer, and statesman. On the obverse front of the 1952 half-dollar, there is a detailed portrait of Benjamin Franklin facing right. The word liberty appears across the top, while the phrase "In God We Trust" is written to the right of Franklin's face. The year 1952 is engraved at the bottom. Reverse design and symbolism. The reverse back of the coin features the Liberty Bell, one of the most powerful symbols of American independence and freedom. The bell is shown with its famous crack clearly visible, representing both the struggles and the strength of the nation. To the right of the bell is a small eagle, which was required by law on all U.S. silver coins at the time. Above the design are the words United States of America, and below it is the denomination half-dollar. Metal composition and specifications. The 1952 Franklin half-dollar is made of 90% silver and 10% copper, which gives it intrinsic bullion value in addition to its collectible worth. The coin weighs 12.5 grams and has a diameter of 30.6 millimeters. Because of its high silver content, the value of the coin often rises when silver prices increase. Mint marks in production. In 1952, Franklin half-dollars were minted at 3 different locations. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. Denver Mint, D mint mark. San Francisco Mint, S mint mark. The mint mark, if present, can be found on the reverse side just above the Liberty Bell. Millions of coins were produced that year, making most 1952 half-dollars fairly common in circulated condition. However, coins in high mint state condition or with special strike quality are much more valuable. Historical context of 1952. The year 1952 was an important period in American history. The United States was involved in the Korean War, and the country was adjusting to life during the early Cold War era. The economy was growing, and silver coins like the Franklin half-dollar were widely used in everyday transactions such as shopping, travel, and banking. At that time, people did not realize that these silver coins would one day be removed from circulation and become collectibles. Collector interest and legacy. Today, the 1952 Franklin half-dollar is admired for its classic design and silver content. While circulated examples are affordable, uncirculated and proof-like coins can be significantly more valuable. Coins with strong detail, full bell lines, FBL, and minimal wear are especially sought after by collectors. The Franklin half-dollar series ended in 1963 after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, when it was replaced by the Kennedy half-dollar in 1964. Despite this, the Franklin half-dollar remains an important chapter in U.S. coinage history, and the 1952 issue stands as a symbol of mid-20th century America. Next time, the 1954 half-dollar is an important coin in the history of United States coinage and belongs to the famous Franklin half-dollar series, which was produced from 1948 to 1963. This coin was issued during the post-World War II era, a time when the United States economy was growing rapidly, and silver coins were still widely used in everyday transactions. The 1954 half-dollar is made of 90% silver and 10% copper, giving it both historical and intrinsic value. At the time, half-dollars were commonly used for large purchases, savings, and business transactions, making this coin a regular part of American life. The obverse front of the 1954 half-dollar features a portrait of Benjamin Franklin, one of the most respected founding fathers of the United States. The design was created by John R. Sinek, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. Franklin was chosen because of his enormous contributions to American independence, science, diplomacy, and literature. The word liberty appears across the top, while the phrase "In God We Trust" is displayed to the right of Franklin's profile. The date 1954 is located at the bottom of the coin. This design symbolized wisdom, freedom, and moral values during a time of national rebuilding. The reverse back of the coin shows the Liberty Bell, one of the most powerful symbols of American independence. The Liberty Bell represents freedom, democracy, and the birth of the nation. Next to the bell is a small eagle, which was added to meet legal requirements that all U.S. silver coins include an eagle. The words United States of America and half-dollar surround the design, while the motto EPLURIBUS UNUM appears above the bell. This reverse design is unique because it focuses more on national symbolism rather than portraits or landscapes. In 1954, half-dollars were struck at 2 U.S. mint locations. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. Denver Mint, D mint mark. The Philadelphia Mint produced a large number of coins, making the 1954 no mint mark more common. The 1954 D half dollar minted in Denver had a lower production and is considered more desirable, especially in higher grades. Both versions were intended for circulation, not for collectors, which means many coins were heavily used and worn over time. From a historical perspective, the 1954 half dollar reflects the Cold War era, when the United States was focused on economic strength and national unity. Silver coins like this one represented real wealth because their metal content had significant value. People often saved half dollars as a form of security, which is why many were stored away instead of being spent. This habit helped preserve some coins in better condition for future generations. When it comes to value, the 1954 half dollar depends greatly on its condition. In very worn or circulated condition, the coin's value is mainly based on its silver content. However, in uncirculated or mint condition, especially with strong details and original luster, the value increases significantly. The 1954 D half dollar is generally more valuable than the Philadelphia issue. Coins with full bell lines FBL, a designation indicating sharp details on the Liberty Bell, are especially prized by collectors and can sell for much higher prices. Today, the 1954 half dollar is popular among coin collectors, silver investors, and history lovers. It represents the last generation of traditional U.S. silver half dollars before major changes in American coinage. Collectors appreciate it for its classic design, silver content, and connection to one of America's greatest historical figures. Even though it may look simple, this coin carries deep meaning and reflects an important period in U.S. history. In conclusion, the 1954 Franklin half dollar is more than just an old coin. It is a symbol of American heritage, economic strength, and timeless design. Whether found in worn condition or preserved in mint state, it remains a valuable and respected piece of U.S. numismatic history. For anyone interested in collecting or learning about silver coins, the 1954 half dollar is an excellent example of quality, tradition, and historical importance. Next time, the 1956 half dollar is part of the famous Franklin half dollar series, which was minted by the United States from 1948 to 1963. This series was introduced to honor Benjamin Franklin, one of America's most respected founding fathers. Franklin was known for his contributions as a statesman, scientist, inventor, and philosopher, and he strongly believed that real people, not symbolic figures, should appear on U.S. coins. The Franklin half dollar was the first regular-issue U.S. coin to feature a non-president who was not a mythological figure, making it historically significant. Design and artistic features. The obverse front of the 1956 half dollar displays a bold portrait of Benjamin Franklin, designed by John R. Sinek, who was the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. Franklin's portrait is simple yet dignified, reflecting his wisdom and influence on American history. Above the portrait appears the word Liberty, while the national motto "In God We Trust" is written across the front. Sinek's initials JRS can be seen near Franklin's shoulder, adding authenticity and artistic recognition to the coin. The reverse back of the coin features the Liberty Bell, one of the most important symbols of American independence. To the right of the bell is a small eagle, which was required by law to appear on all U.S. silver coins. The Liberty Bell famously has a crack, and this crack is clearly visible on the coin's design, making it an instantly recognizable feature. The reverse also includes the inscriptions United States of America and half dollar. Minting and production details. The 1956 half dollar was struck at 3 U.S. mint locations. Philadelphia, no mint mark. Denver, D mint mark. San Francisco, S mint mark, proof coins only. Philadelphia and Denver produced coins mainly for circulation, while San Francisco produced proof coins specially made for collectors. Millions of 1956 half dollars were minted, as half dollars were commonly used in everyday transactions during the 1950s. Because of this high production, many examples still exist today, especially in circulated condition. Metal composition and specifications. The 1956 Franklin half dollar is composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, which gives it intrinsic precious metal value in addition to its historical importance. The coin weighs 12.5 grams, has a diameter of 30.6 mm, and features a reeded edge. During the 1950s, silver coins were still widely used in commerce, and people often carried half dollars in wallets and pockets, unaware that these coins would later become collectible. Circulation history and public use. In 1956, the United States was experiencing economic growth following World War II. Half dollars were commonly used for purchases, savings, and even as gifts. Over time, many Franklin half dollars were removed from circulation due to silver hoarding, especially after the rising silver prices of the 1960s. As a result, higher-grade uncirculated examples of the 1956 half dollar are harder to find today compared to heavily worn ones. Collector interest and importance. The 1956 half dollar holds strong appeal among coin collectors, particularly those who specialize in silver coins or Franklin half dollars. Collectors carefully examine details such as strike quality, luster, and bell lines on the Liberty Bell. Coins with full bell lines (FBL), where the horizontal lines at the bottom of the bell are clearly visible, are especially desirable and command higher premiums in the numismatic market. Legacy of the 1956 half dollar. The Franklin half-dollar series ended in 1963 after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, leading to the introduction of the Kennedy half-dollar in 1964. Despite its relatively short run, the Franklin half-dollar remains a favorite among collectors due to its classic design, silver content, and connection to American history. The 1956 issue represents a strong example of mid-20th century U.S. coinage, and continues to be admired for its elegance and historical depth. Next time, the 1960 half-dollar is part of the famous Franklin half-dollar series, which was produced by the United States Mint from 1948 to 1963. This coin carries the portrait of Benjamin Franklin, one of America's most respected founding fathers, making it the first regular-issue U.S. coin to feature a non-president. By 1960, the Franklin half-dollar had already become a symbol of post-World War II American strength, economic stability, and pride. The 1960 issue represents one of the final years before the series was discontinued and replaced by the Kennedy half-dollar in 1964. In 1960, half-dollars were struck at two different mints, the Philadelphia Mint No Mint Mark and the Denver Mint D Mint Mark. The Philadelphia Mint produced approximately 6 million coins, while the Denver Mint struck around 12.4 million coins. These mintages were lower than some earlier years, which adds modest collectible interest today. During this time, half-dollars were still widely used in daily transactions, although many Americans were beginning to save silver coins due to their precious metal content. The design of the 1960 Franklin half-dollar is simple yet powerful. The obverse shows a strong right-facing portrait of Benjamin Franklin, along with the word Liberty across the top and the national motto "In God We Trust" placed to the side. Franklin himself famously opposed putting his image on coins, yet his presence on this series reflects his enormous influence on American history. The reverse features the Liberty Bell, one of the most iconic symbols of American independence, with a small eagle added to comply with U.S. law requiring an eagle on silver coins. One of the most important features of the 1960 half-dollar is its silver composition. Like all Franklin half-dollars, it is made of 90% silver and 10% copper, weighing 12.5 grams with a diameter of 30.6. This high silver content makes the coin valuable not only to collectors, but also to investors who value historic silver coinage. As silver prices rise, the intrinsic value of the 1960 half-dollar increases accordingly. Collectors often pay special attention to strike quality when evaluating 1960 Franklin half-dollars. Many coins from this year were weakly struck, especially on the Liberty Bell lines on the reverse. Coins that show full bell lines (FBL), clear, uninterrupted horizontal lines at the bottom of the bell, are considered premium examples. A 1960 or 1960D half-dollar with strong full bell lines and high mint state condition can command significantly higher prices in today's numismatic market. From a historical perspective, the 1960 half-dollar reflects a turning point in American coinage. The early 1960s were a time of social and political change, and within just a few years, rising silver prices would cause the U.S. government to remove silver from circulating coins. This makes the 1960 Franklin half-dollar one of the last widely used silver half-dollars in everyday commerce, giving it lasting historical importance. Today, the value of a 1960 half-dollar depends heavily on its condition and mint mark. Circulated examples are generally worth more than face value due to silver content alone. Uncirculated coins, especially those graded MS65 or higher with full bell lines, can be worth many times their silver melt value. While most 1960 half-dollars are not extremely rare, high-quality specimens are increasingly difficult to find. In conclusion, the 1960 Franklin half-dollar is a historically rich and visually striking coin that represents the final era of traditional U.S. silver coinage. Its connection to Benjamin Franklin, its iconic Liberty Bell design, and its solid silver content make it a favorite among collectors and history enthusiasts alike. Whether kept as an investment, a collectible, or a piece of American heritage, the 1960 half-dollar continues to hold strong appeal more than 6 decades after it was minted.